Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round two of our season coverage of the IRC Season X. We're here for Tier 2 after the real life Grand Prix. I hope at least that we have a better standing than what we witnessed today, but fingers crossed that is the case. I am joined by our very own lead streamer, Dan, so the SSG Assassin, and my co-host is Red Bull driver, aka Mahmoud Admi. Hey, folks.
Hello, Kapil.
Hey
Right,
Kapil, how's it
so
going?
oh my, yes, we are going great with your enthusiasm, Dan. Right. So let's get into the action. I think our boys are gearing up for the session. Before that, let's have a look at a track guide of Australia, followed by a Hotlap. Well, Australia is one of those technical street comes overtaking circuits with 14 turns and 5.2.78 kilometer long. This time around in F122, we only have three DRS zones, but it should still be a good showing. Come race day. Got three detection zones, so two detection zones, but three DRS traps, two in sector one. So the major overtaking zones being the turn 11 and 12. Uh, but you never say never when it comes to Australia here. On to the hot lap.
Hello everyone, and welcome on board a lap of Australia with a very own Tier 1 driver, Rystle. Now preparing the lap, you want to be on the left hand side for turn 1, brake just between the 150, use the inside curve to get nice rotation, slow and fast out for that corner now, get a good exit and keep the throttle up. Now 3, you want to brake just as the barrier finishes on the left hand side, take a late apex. Through these sequence of corners, it's important to keep the momentum high as you're balancing the car with the brake and throttle slightly. This corner, it's a bit treacherous, so be very careful with the steering. Turn 6, you want to just do a flick to the right and then keep the momentum up through that corner. Now, if you're on the old game, you'd be preparing for a braking zone, but now it's all flat, so you just keep the steering as minimal as possible and just keep the momentum up high. Preparing for the turn 9 and 10 chicane, brake just before the 50-meter board. Take a cut back line here, use all the curve possible and make sure you get a good exit because there's another DRS zone coming right up. Now, braking for turn 11, you would just want to brake just before the 50-meter board. Take a late apex now. And you don't use the curve if your setup isn't very curve friendly. For this one, just flick the car in, keep the momentum up high. This one, if you want to avoid braking in the grass, which is very easy to do so. For here, you want to just balance the car with the throttle, get a good exit as you head on to finish the lap. And that's a great lap of this beautiful, beautiful circuit.
Lap from Russell. Fortunately, he's not joining us for the season, but I think Moto for one will not be will not have any issues with that. I believe you're also joined by Moto. Moto, a little bit of a late entrance, but good to have him on the com box as well. Hey, Moto.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to be back. And yeah, Australia, I think sexy track. I mean, I absolutely adore this track. It's a very flowing circuit after the changes that were made in 21. Uh, it's more you can overtake more easily when compared to the previous layout. So yeah, and we saw like from tier 3 and 4, there was a lot of carnage, but there was a lot of good wheel to wheel action as well. So it does look like a prospect for a good race. I think the weather just came up. Looks to be a dry session on both the ones. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Top contenders as of right now. We're on board FIFA Kanak on his first line on lap, and that's an invalidation. A little tight, at least in turn in sector one. That's definitely a pinch point for drivers, as we could see there. But so far, so clean. Who are your favorites, Moto? Who've been the knockout performance in tier 2? Oh, said that Alex just forgetting like Kevin Magnussen where and how to turn. Probably is just getting his bearings right before his flying lap, but he seems to have picked up some damage, which is not ideal. As it stands, in terms of the championship, Inc. is the championship leader in the Aston Martin. Hasenberg, however, or as we know him, Heisenberg 13, is one of those on pure pace. From a quality perspective, he's the one who's been lighting up the charts along with FIFA Canuck, but that does not give you the points at the end of the day. Existence puts out a fastest lap quickly, followed by Deepak, who's actually right behind him. That's an interesting strategy, if I may say so, on picking up the right slipstream to get the best lap in.
Yeah, I mean, as we see some drivers setting some nice what do you call uh, banker laps. I think Deepak has got provisional pole right now with an 18.3, which is a second and a bit ahead of P2. So yeah, that's quite a dominant banker lap from the AlphaTauri driver. Really making a name for himself. He's got the pace. I think his last race was ruined by a damaged front wing, so he couldn't quite couldn't quite stretch his legs, fully and show his paces. We have a retirement in the session. I think that's Faizan, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, that's Faizan, who has binned it in the fast right-hander, I think. Which is, yeah, it's going to be a very common place for a lot of retirements. We saw from Tier 3, most of the retirements was in that particular corner. I mean, it's a very fast corner, but the thing is with these cars, because they're so heavy, you really need to get the line perfect. If you're a bit too tight to the apex and then you just take a bit too much of the curb, you lose the rear end. So yeah, certainly a corner these drivers will be on the lookout for in qualifying and especially on the race as well with the fuel loads.
And as we see, the wick has definitely. Oh, that is an invalidation and a retirement for BK19. He will not be taking any more part in the qualifying session with his wings
Try
just
for double
flapping
and
around.
make it.
Yeah. But as it stands, we've got ABD28 and FIFA Canuck who are very close behind Deepak, less than a tenth of a second. So the competition definitely coming alive. We still have Heisenberg and Ink and Sai Tarun for that matter, three hard hitters to finish their banker laps. Let's see if we can go on with them. See how they're doing. I think Ink's validation to begin, but yeah, take it away with his lap.
Yeah, so we go on board the Haas driver, Hasenberg as he's now called. Turns 1 and 2 look quite smooth, nice in the turn in there. Bit too far from the apex for my liking, but yeah, still good for a banker lap. As he's approaching this mechanical section of the track, sector 1, where you swing from one corner to the other. Very important to get your momentum high, keep your momentum high throughout the entire section. He comes across to the first sector split, which isn't quite updated on the telemetry, so yeah, it's gonna be a while till we find out how representative that first sector is. As he's approaching this now flat out section, very reminiscent of sector 3 in Jeddah, into the turn 9 and 10 chicane, descended chicane as a lot of people here call it, not quite utilizing all the curb on the left there. A bit safe for his banker, but yeah, always better to be safe than sorry. Into turn 11. Sharp right-hander, late apex, they use all the track you can in the right, get the far down as early as you can, into this right-hander, fit the car in, and into the hairpin of the penultimate corner. Make sure you rotate the car into the brakes there and keep the momentum high through the second corner as well, and make sure you get a good exit. It looked quite neat and tidy there for the Haas driver, and yeah, that is representative and evidently shown by the timing boards as he goes provisional pole by well, not even a tenth. So yeah, it's quite close between the AlphaTauri and the Haas driver. So we do have a battle for pole on the hands, folks.
Absolutely. That is exactly what you'll have to see here in Tier 2. I think Ink is now on a hot lap. Let's see if he's got any inroads on it. Oh, he's invalidated and he's coming in. But don't count him out just yet, folks. It's just the first run. So yeah, Seja now on a Hotlap. Nope, he's definitely not going his representative pace. 6 seconds down. So I think it's a little bit of cooler until the next round of qualifying laps come in. Existence, yeah, as well, not exactly improving on his lap. King James, yeah, he was an ex-tier 1 driver. We've seen him on the grid a couple of times. Fortunately, did not get an opportunity this time around, but he's out on his second flying lap with his second set of tires. Oh, losing the back end there and spinning out in turn 5. Is that turn 4? The counting right?
One of them.
Yeah,
One
one
of
of them. Yeah, invalidation from FIFA Canuck. That will not be ideal. I
Quite
think.
a common theme we're seeing coming up here, isn't it?
Yeah,
Invalidations.
but it's good to get it out of the system. Hopefully,
Oh
you
yeah,
don't get that at the
absolutely.
end. Yeah, Deepak now also not improving on his laps. Does look to be that many of these folks are not getting what they wanted in their second runs. Atypical considering there is track evolution, but it remains to be seen whether someone will make it out alive. And
Canucks invalidated again.
yeah.
Not quite the session he's not quite a good session he's having so far for our tier 2 race winner last time round.
Uh, I think face crack, or was it Alex? Oh, we've got someone off in the distance. Entirely sure about that. Face crack is actually got a purple middle sector. He is cracking it out there. Let's see if we can keep it clean at the end of this hot lap to put in his representative time. He's a little off over a second and a bit behind P1, but I think that was a very clean finish to his lap. And let's see where he comes out. Improves by over 7 tenths, so he's a little bit over 4.5 tenths away from P1, but an improvement nevertheless. Alex, he's running with no front wing at the moment. That is definitely going to give him some super straight line speed, but not
The
so
Albon
much.
approach.
Yep. And now he
Alex
invalidates
Albon.
his lap. Surprisingly, during his spin, did not. So that is lovely to see. All the way back in P19. 3 retirements. Faizan, he went out quite early. BK19 spinning out in an Albon fashion in turn 7 at the end of sector 1. And I'm not sure if Strendy even came out, but yeah, that's quite unfortunate
A
for
good
him.
showcase from the Red Bull boys currently. Like last time around, they were quite weak in qualifying, but yeah, certainly have stepped up their game. Word around the paddock is that ABD's been pretty rapid around this circuit. So, and that's currently you can evidently see that because he's in P3 right now. So, yeah, keep an eye out on those guys and the Haas's as well. Shrey's yet to set a representative lap, and he was up there with Heisenberg last time around. So yeah, we still have 5 or so minutes in qualifying. A lot of drivers not quite setting their own representative what do you call banker laps because of the invalidations and all, which could come back to bite them later on in this session, considering how important a banker is. As Chicken has had an offing as the Ferrari there, I think, or is that an Alpha?
Rystle
Yeah,
Sam.
the Alfa Romeo of
Oh, that's Seja.
Seja. Yeah. Maybe they sort of impeded each other, or I don't know quite what happened there, but yeah, very easy to impede on this circuit. Quite narrow around some parts, but Kapil, yeah, let's get the predictions out of the way. Top 3, do you think it's going to stay as is, or do you reckon someone else is going to pip it on pole in the latter stage of the session?
At least from practice sessions that I've been a part of. He's got that he's got that pace down as well. Now whether he can actually keep it on track is the question, but my mind is on aim for pole. Heisenberg, I think he will also be a part of the podium as well FIFA Kanak? I'm not sure. I don't mean to be a hater against ABD. I think his time will come in the race though.
Yeah, he is more of a race merchant, if you would put it that way, than a qualifying one. Which is fine, which is because, I mean, all the points are won in the race. So better to, do well in the race and qualifying. But this track, it could be a different story because of how hard it is to overtake there. Even though the track has opened up quite a bit, opened up quite a few overtaking opportunities, the dirty air is still rampant throughout the last sector.
We've got a
So,
new player in the mix. We've got
oh,
Axel Sam who's gone into P2.
now that's a name I haven't seen up there for a long time.
Indeed. Xbox man turned to the PC side and finally gets one in. And that is a mighty fine lap, if I may say so. Out of nowhere. Yeah. Right, so Chicken now, he struggled last race. He wasn't looking all too happy with his consistency, especially on this game. But he's putting in a decent effort right now. He's 4 tenths away from pole, with just probably another a minute or so from the last round of Hotlaps coming our way. So a little off kilter from off sync from the rest of the grid. But
Yeah.
I think this will definitely be his time to shine and at least show us what he can do. He
As he
crosses the line.
comes across the last corner,
Yeah, he goes
puts
P10.
himself in P10.
That is a close grid. It
Yeah,
is a
that is
close
close.
grid.
Now that I look at it, that's he's 4 tenths off, but he's P10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ink now.
Wow.
I really need to watch this. He is
Let's go
flying
on board.
easy. We got King James who's just rejoined the session. We will not be able to see his times because this is his first time putting in a lap. But so far so clean, if I can say that. Not using all of the curve in out of sector 1. But this is where it really counts. He's slightly missed the apex, but with his full TC, that is not necessarily a concern. He can still make the corner easily. Going into sector 3, this is where the lap really counts. Missed the apex a little bit, so he had to kind of open up the steering wheel as he went a little deep. Not using all of the track. I am being a little pessimistic and overcritical of his lap, but as he is going to cross the line, we've got another provisional pole of Alex with a 118.1, but Ink displaces him immediately with
Wow.
another 118.0. So yeah, folks,
This
my
is it.
prediction
This
is
my
on.
moment. This is it. Heisenberg is on a charge right now. Let's go on board and see the Haas driver and see how he tackles the Australian circuit. Now into this fast right-hander where you have to get the line so perfectly right. Nibbles a bit of the inside curve for rotation. Gets the car there nice and smoothly. Into this fast chicane. Throws the car and he's a 10th and a half down on P1 right now. So not quite a decent first sector, but he's still up on his time, and that's all he needs on his telemetry, that he's up on his time, and it's going to give him the confidence in the latter stages of the lap as he approaches the chicane of 9 and 10. Yeah, he's gaining back that time. He's got a great exit out the fast chicane previously, so he's just a half a tenth off of P1 right now into the right hander of turn 11. Braking as late as you dare, using all the track on the left hand side, getting the far down nice and smoothly. He's got some traffic, who gets out of the way very nicely there into the hairpin, gets the car rotated under the brakes there, and short shifting to 5th gear and keeping the power down. That looked really smooth, I'll tell you that. And across the line, does he break into the 17s? Not quite. It's P3 for the Haas driver.
And
Wait,
P2.
it's P2.
Exactly, as you were commentating over his lap, and the other Aston Martin also joined the party, and he might very well be the next. He might well end up in the front row. But I think we have a couple more laps. I think Deepak is also on a hot lap, and so is ABD. Whether I think, yeah, unfortunately, Deepak has invalidated ABD as is at the end of the sector 1. I think this might be one of the last runners other than FIFA Kanak. I think he's a little up ahead. But this is the do or die time. He's a little over a tenth ahead. We will cut back to ABD in a second, but FIFA Kanak got two green sectors. So an improvement on his side. This will be crucial to get back into the front row.
Lovely final corner there.
Yeah, absolutely. Using all of it, and he goes pole position.
The first man in the 17s. Take a bow indeed.
Oh, but ABD is still there. This is not over yet, ladies and gentlemen. Enter ABD into the chat. He is running out there in sector 3. Can he keep it tight? He uses beautiful curve usage there into sector 3, keeping it nice and steady. Short shifting. Oh no, he doesn't. He actually uses all of the track there, and he crosses the line. Oh, 200ths of a second.
What a lap, what a lap. Take a bow, FIFA Kanak and ABD. What a lap indeed. Oof.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. A blazing 18 minutes of qualifying, a scintillating one, if I may say so.
Man, look at that. Look at those gaps. Axel
beautiful.
Sam, who's on provisional pole, is now back in P9 or 8. Sorry.
Yep.
Wow.
I was not lying when I said there is track evolution and it will come, and it definitely came. So
Yep.
there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, your top 3, FIFA Kanak, ABD28 and Ink. But you've got the likes of Sai Tarun and believe it was who were the next folks? Hasenberg and some other folks as well who are right behind them. So it's going to be a close battle. There's nothing to separate these folks. It could be one mistake here and there, and they're all back at it. Moto, walk away with the grid, please.
Yup. P1 FIFA Connect with the stonking lap, the only driver into the 17s to break into the 17 mark there. ABD with a sensational P2 lap as well, just 200ths away from P1. Ink and Sai Tarun, both the Aston boys, great qualifying result for those guys there, P3 and 4. And then Heisenberg P5, the lone Haas in P5, Shrek quite a bit off the pace this time around. Both the Ferraris doing well as well, with the Dark Knight being in a Ferrari sandwich in P7, and Deepak, who looked very strong early on, but sort of dropped down the order, so he might not be that completely satisfied with that. Finishes in P9 there, and yeah, I think we're gonna have a look and see who was P10 there to round off the top 10 of the grid. But yeah, heading into this race, Kapil, what are you thinking? What do you think is going to be the strategy for the pole sitter? Is he going to try and do what Verstappen did today morning, where he went extremely defensive all the way across to the pit wall, trying to make sure that Hamilton wasn't able to get it on through, but still Hamilton sort of squeezed a way through into turn 2.
Moto, sorry
or do you think he's going to take it safe?
I think somebody is readied up early. The countdown is
Oh, wow.
already running.
Oh yeah. Well. I hope everyone made the setup changes, because if not, we might be seeing some early DNFs in this race right now. But anyways, the action is going to start earlier than expected. Couple takeaway for the 5 lights.
Right. Well, it is gonna be a scintillating one for sure. Will it be like will it be over hot like our real life second restart or third restart, if I may say so? We'll have to wait and see. But I can assure you, if you miss this, you're gonna regret it. Because our tier 2 boys are just about ready for the Australian Grand Prix.
The game doesn't look quite ready.
Yes, that is unfortunate. We can't be having that, can we?
Well, I mean, it gives us some time to talk about strategy, I guess. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's quite important that medium hard. It's quite known that medium hard / hard medium is quite the meta. But with the safety cars, thinking of changing the game up a bit. Do you think we might be seeing soft runners, soft starters on the grid? Or do you think no one is going to take the plunge and go that far?
Be highly unusual, in my opinion. But I never want to say never say never. You never know, honestly. You have someone who's just thinking diabolical, thinking or expecting the carnage, maybe from their previous days in other tiers to also show up here. I don't know. We'll have to wait and watch. But the game definitely is not interested in any of our banter. Probably might be heading to a lobby restart. So give us a moment, folks. We will investigate what is going on, and we'll get back to you shortly. Oh,
Oh,
there
never
we have
mind.
it.
Never mind. I think we're back. Yeah,
Yep.
take it away, Kapil.
All right, firelights, and away we go. FIFA Connect does not
Oh,
move. Half the grid does move and stop,
okay, yeah,
and
that's a
it's track.
restart.
Yeah, that's a
That's a
restart.
restart.
The game. Oh, look at that! What an amazing start, Hasenberg. As per my prediction, is it P1? No, I'm kidding. Okay. But look
There
at
were
the strategy.
some soft runners.
This,
I was right. There were some
yeah,
soft runners. Yeah.
ABD and Dark Knight. Oh, we haven't even talked about Dark Knight. That's unfortunate.
Okay, no one's retiring, which is quite strange, considering there was a huge offset for some drivers as to when the. Okay, yeah.
Okay, we have to change the scene. Change the
18,
scene,
close your
please.
eyes ASAP.
Oh.
The sister and the brother team are getting up to something which is quite well known in Alabama right now.
Looks to be the
Yeah.
case, yeah. Well, I really don't know if it's going to be a lobby restart. Doesn't look to be the case. Half the grid has left, but half the grid is
It
still
has to
going.
be.
It has to be, yeah.
Cool, folks. I think we'll be back with you in a short while.
Yeah. Stick around. How was the Australian Grand Prix? It was. I mean, I think for you personally, Moto, it was a good race all the way until the very last lap.
Oh yeah, I
Do you
wonder
want to
why.
talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, it was quite an eventful race. For once, Australia actually saw some overtaking, which was quite surprising. DRS was quite powerful, wasn't it? Like, you had the Alpines, which are technically at least a second off race pace compared to the Ferrari, but he was just sticking behind Sainz. It was Gasly throughout the entire stint on the hards.
Made me quite
So yeah,
hopeful the way he was going, honestly.
I mean, I knew it was only down to DRS because it's impossible to even think that the Alpine is even on pace with the Ferrari.
But
So yeah,
having said that, Science was particularly struggling to get past um, the past Gasly, but Gasly looked to be like comfortably behind, sticking behind Science. I don't know
yeah.
if that's an indicator of like the
I
straight
think
line speeds or
Sainz had
whatnot.
to use up quite a bit of energy in tires early on because he I think ended up in P7 after the safety car and all. And the red flag was the first one out of what, three or four there were. I don't even, I've lost count. It was a
Yeah,
complete
about
conundrum after at the latter stage. But because of that, I think he used up too much of his tires, and then he just got stuck behind Gasly, where I think the pace offset wasn't as great as he would want it to, for him to easily get past him. Uh, yeah, I think it mainly came down to that as to why. But he did get him with a very big lunge, might I add. That was quite a risky move. If Gasly didn't quite, turn out of the corner, there would have been contact. But yeah, DRS was just really powerful in the entire race.
absolutely. But talking about red flags, what was up with that? Did we really need so many red flags? So let's look at the incidents. We had Albon who littered the track with stones and gravel. Was that really a safety hazard? Did that require the entire race to be stopped? Question.
Actually, what's interesting is that the area where he did crash out, I think it was again that fast right-hander, if I'm not wrong, right? Uh, the in sector 1, or was it the chicane after sector 1?
It was the
It was a fast right-hander. That area of the track is actually very narrow, So if you do even have a safety car, and because the gravel was spread across the entire, stretch width of that area section of the track, even with the safety car, I don't think it would have been, I don't know, possible probably, or they just wanted to play it safe, or maybe they just wanted extra drama. I don't know the entire picture, but it's not completely surprising as to why a red flag was called for that. There was a lot of debris, and there was a risk of puncture as well. Uh, with the drivers running around on the grid during the safe if there was a safety car. So I think it was mainly down to the debris on the track.
Yeah, but
Why it was
debris
called.
on track is quite common, and you can sweep that up in a matter of 2 laps with the right number of personnel on the track. We've seen that before. Why they had to? I mean, there was no barrier damage from what I could see. They didn't actually have to do anything with the actual ends of the circuit itself. So I like leads me to believe that they had to do it just to clean up the track. While I do understand that it is a safety concern, you could have easily done that in the safety car condition as well, right? I don't know. That's
Yeah.
my belief on that. Then there was the next incident, which was honestly quite hysterical when you see that a driver of his caliber just probably falling asleep on the wheel and forgetting to turn. It didn't look like his car was all that phased by the overspeed or anything along those lines. Um, yeah, I think that's right. SSG, that looks good. Um, so I'm very. I mean, what did you think that also warranted a red flag? Because they could have easily ran a safety car to the end of the race. Why they
Hmm.
had to red flag that, make us wait, have millions of dollars of damage. Of course, that's not on them, but and then again make us wait for us to just end on a safety car. Just too many questions right now. With the first safety car restart, why didn't they go with the rolling start in the first place? I don't know, because there was hardly any grip at the first red flag restart. So that
Yep.
in itself was a big red flag.
And even
Um,
with the nature of turn 1 and 2, with how narrow it is,
yeah,
and the
and
fact that the red flag was, everyone was up for grabs for the restart. Everyone wanted to overtake and gain position, right? So they should have seen it coming that a crash was bound to happen. Uh, so yeah,
yeah, and
quite
it
a
did.
puzzling decision. I'm with you on board with that.
And the last restart, did we have to resume the race when the position was already known? Did it make any sense for us to be made waiting for them to go behind a safety car and not race? What was the point of all that? Was that just like the post race version of a driver's parade, like, and just theatrics? I'm not entirely sure what was the point
I
of
think
all
they
of
just
that.
wanted to finish the lap count. It was still on 57. Uh, or it was on 58, but they didn't finish that lap. They all came in, right? But
Yeah.
then if they came in, then they probably finished it because they did cross the line technically. I don't know, man. I think they just wanted to, make sure the drivers finish on track for the final lap. It was really procedural, like a rudimentary thing which they did. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
at least
still
they followed
quite
the rules
confusing.
this time around, so I don't
Yeah,
want
yeah,
to
at least
fault
they
them
did
too hard
that.
for this.
At least they were consistent.
Yeah.
I mean, if the first incident was a red flag, then yeah, sure. The other ones were as well.
Yeah. Huh. Well, that is out of the way now, and I think our boys are more or less ready in a moment's time for our tier 2 race. But talk about tier 1 tonight. We do not have Pre the Pro, our resident Xbox fast boy, joining us tonight. So what are your thoughts? Do you think that's going to give you a chance for a podium or even the win? Because from what we could see all week long, Helium has just been rapid. We see you have the pace in time trials, but do you have the resources to back that up in the race?
Well, I hate that you bring this up now, but yeah, I mean, Tier 1 looks to be good. Yeah, I think Helium has the upper hand on almost everyone on the grid, especially with pre-not here. But SG is always there. He's always extremely consistent. I don't know how the man does it. He'll be struggling and crying, a few days before he doesn't have the right setup, but then he just turns up in the race and bags a podium or two, consistently 3, 4 races in a row.
Very
So yeah, he's
Hamilton-like.
always there. He's always there. The less I say about myself, the better. You are probably there as well with your race starts.
Yeah, you're not fooling
Um,
anybody here. So the race starts are a thing of the past. The ID doesn't work in this game anymore. So I'm just a passenger uh, to be fighting in the midfield with the clowns out there. I say that with the utmost respect, but as a driver, I couldn't be asked.
we have the McLaren. I mean, one of the McLarens as well with Anirudh. Quite quick, even with very strange setups. Somehow he manages to extract quite a bit of the car. It's quite kind of surprising when you see and have a look at the setup, especially. There's
Yeah,
Logesh as well. There's quick, very consistent as well. Dan is there. He's pitching in for the Ferrari boys since Pre's not here. So yeah, Tier 1 looks to be fun. Always is going to be fun with the level of competition we have now.
what if
Uh,
what if it rained? What if it rained and really threw a spanner in the works? I think it would of all the folks, it would really help you. I know that you love the rain. That
uh,
might change everything.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I really do appreciate driving in the rain. It's you're just gliding across the track, but I don't know about for this one. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what's on the cards for the race. But yeah, I think Tier 1 is going to be a promising race, folks. So do tune in for that shameless plug. Well, not quite shameless since we are meant to do this. So yeah, you better tune in for Tier 1. It's at 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock on the same channel.
From a
The
plug to
fastest
a
boys
threat
in IRC.
in 2 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, but coming back to Tier 2, yeah, I think we should be getting ready to start racing. And yeah, as perfectly timed there, really. We head back into the game. But yeah, coming back to Tier 2, we saw that Heisenberg has leaps and leaps of pace over everybody. At least he did in Bahrain. He got poured by around 7 tenths or 6 tenths, I think. But in the race, it was a different story. It painted a different picture. He couldn't quite extra. He did have a contact with FIFA Connect into turn one. That did ruin his start entirely. But then further on, later on as well, he
You've got
couldn't quite
another
slice.
person. Sorry, so sorry to cut you off. You've got
Yeah.
another person who's raided up again, and this time everyone has to
Wow.
bolt on their setups. I don't know what's gonna happen,
Yeah.
right? Honestly, but this is ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, this is quite strange because we normally don't have this occurring anymore. Like we used to, it was quite rampant in the previous seasons, but now everyone knows that you're not supposed to ready up before the minute mark. But yes, there's someone in the grid who is just playing around a bit. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if there's going to be a restart as the timer has disappeared, and uh, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if there's anyone who's forgotten their setups. I hope there isn't because driving on this circuit or any circuit on this game rather without a setup is quite painful. I mean, Kapil, you would know quite about that, wouldn't you? It's happened to you in the past.
Indeed, it has. But surprisingly, it may not have the pace, but at least the balance setup is stable. So you won't be spinning off in the distance unless you forget about your tire pressures. For whatever reason in this game, you have to dial it down all the way. Why they have that in the first place if it's consistent along all tracks, along all temperatures to have it quite as low is completely beyond me.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Pressures are quite infuriating in this game. It's quite uh, arbitrary. Like sometimes you can run quite high, and then sometimes you just have to go minimum all the way through. Uh, but yeah, once your tires do get overheated, it just takes ages to get them back down to temperature. I mean, you have to drive around the circuit at the speed of an F2 car, rather, that slow to get them back down to earth, if you will. So yeah, I mean, tire temps are a factor which is going to be at play in case anyone has forgotten to load in their proper setups with the reduced pressures. Hopefully no one has done that. But yeah, tire temps are going to be a huge factor to the race, especially with the weather. I think it's fully sunny, or is it slightly overcast? I can't quite tell. I think the timer is back on. Yep, the timer is back on. So yeah, Kapil, take us away for the 5 lights.
Alrighty, we've got 4 lights and 5 lights. And we are green and everyone's stuck on the grid, but finally gets underway for the Australian Grand Prix. Good getaway from FIFA and ABD. Heisenberg getting a great start, battling side by side with Ink, going round the outside, sticking it there. Both of them more or less side by side, but Ink getting the better of him. Alex and Sai Tarun holding steady, but Jose Hero, he's hard on the tail and moving up a couple of positions, battling quite hard with Dark Knight at the moment.
Yeah.
But as it stands, a very, very clean getaway there. Getting squiggly on the exit. Sager, I think, is struggling a little bit. But we've got the same. It's the
That's a
other
Deepak.
Alfa Romeo who's blasted himself into the
It's a
wall.
VSC, I think.
Yep, that definitely looks to be a virtual safety car at this point in time. I always have to say that it's a clean start for someone to disagree with me, isn't it? Always the case.
It's the nature of the circuit. This circuit is just, rampant for lap one incidents. It's just so narrow at the start. I mean, it's narrow, but it's not quite narrow, if you know what I mean. There's a lot of runoffs, so people do tend to race very aggressively and squabble for position. So yeah, likelihood of a safety car / a VSC is always high, and we've got one right now. But yeah, still now, nevertheless, it was still a clean getaway for the top people on the top half of the grid. ABD got a good start. He's gained one position. Dan, could we have the telemetry on? The in-game telemetry. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, ABD's gained a position over the Aston of Ink. Sai Tarun with not quite the best of starts finds himself in P6. Heisenberg, as Deepak gets very, very close to the rear diffuser of his brother team there, if you will.
And we got a spin. Jose Hero has just spun at the exit there, and he's dropped all the way. This is basically donating his position at this point in time. And we've got green flag racing once again. We've got Dark Knight, who's been swallowed up by Deepak. He's been hounding him throughout the VSC, and now he just takes the position. Dark Knight is not happy with that. It's spamming his ERS through and through. And we've got battles all around the track as well. But as it stands, it's a clean getaway for FIFA Connect, but ABD is definitely hot on his tail. Most of them running the medium tires, except for a few in the mid pack running the alternate strategy with the hards.
James, yeah.
Yeah, okay, and more of the runners on the back, if I can now see that. So that's going to be interesting to see when a safety car or something along those lines come out. But as it stands, 2 laps in, Ink not been able to capitalize or keep up with the top 2. He is under pressure from Heisenberg in P3, but the top 2 are slowly running away with it. That's the other Alfa Romeo. This is not giving me hopes of a good race being in Alfa Romeo, I'll be very honest. But that's him down as well with Jose Hero, who's just boxed for a fresh set of soft tires. Probably picked up some damage in the VSC.
Does Ink have damage? Because he's dropping quite a bit from ABD right now. ABD has the superior race pace in this one. He's still hounding the back of Kanak, who was very rapid in Bahrain.
And Heisenberg is quite close to Ink as well.
Yeah.
You got Faizan and Dark Knight.
Pace,
yeah, you got. So Faizan's made a move on Dark Knight as well. So from attack to defense, And Heisenberg thinking about it, going to go round the outside, side by side action between Dark Knight and Faizan. That's the wrong action. If I from what I see right now, super
But it's still
clean.
action. Yep.
Yeah,
Going side by side with the right-handers. Plenty of room given by both the drivers to each other. Great racing, and Dark Knight still stuck on behind Faizan there. Heisenberg got the move done on 8, so great move by the Haas driver. I think he went around the outside of turn 11 as well. So yeah, some pretty nifty moves. ABD has got some rapid pace here. He's all over the back of the Alpine in front, and he's choosing to conserve his ERS. Is he going to go for the move into turn 11 in sector 2? Well, Kana goes quite wide there, I tell you what. He goes quite wide. That's going to happen his entire line throughout the sequence of corners is ABD is going to carry way more minimum speed through almost of them, but still has held back. Ooh, is that a safety car? Yep, that is a safety car.
Yep.
But what happened? No one
Existence.
DNF'd, I think.
I think there's a collision. I'm not sure if Existence collided with his teammate or just with Chicken, but he's definitely come out worse in that incident, either with the wall or something else. He's got no front wing. That's another donation made. Hero again bidding. So he's gone from the softs to the hards. I'm not sure if that's the best decision. But anyways, he's at the back of the grid, so nothing to lose there. But yeah, major movers at this point in time. Ink dropping a couple of positions to P4, one position if I may say so. Heisenberg gaining 2 positions. That's good to see. Faizan 10 positions from P18. Wow. He had a terrible start. He's made great use of those medium tires. I think I can see that the rest of the folks below 10th position have gone for the alternate strategy, so he's made great use of those tires to sweep up the field. And that's another off. Chicken, probably in solidarity for making or causing an issue with Existence, also spins out, but no damage? Question mark?
Yeah. Yeah, it is surprising. But interesting to know that ABD sort of pulled out a gap, like he sort of held back in the safety car. Canucks come in. Wait, no, sorry, that's Existence, my bad. But yeah, speaking of ABD, he was sort of dropping back from Kanak there in P1, getting a gap between the two drivers. Very weird as to why he chose to do that, but now he's getting back within a second of the driver in front.
Actually, quite smart. Yeah. Honestly, if you're a tier 3 or tier 4 driver watching, in the safety car conditions, you cannot overtake. If someone overtakes you in safety car conditions, you should report them ASAP because they will be slapped with a big fat penalty. Take it easy. ABD right now is essentially creating a gap, either to warm his tires or not to get too close, but it gives him a nice little buffer, his own space, if you will, which is quite handy. So again, that will obviously warrant drivers behind you to get all up in your face to actually give you pressure, but just don't look back and just mind your own race. As long as you're over under 10 car lengths, you're good. You got nothing to worry about, and it'll avoid you unnecessarily being too close and unable to react to a Constantino effect or some nonsense that's going out ahead of you and unnecessarily donating your front wing. If that's what you want to do, you want to be philanthropic and be donating your wings, please disregard everything what I've just said. But it just makes more sense to keep a good healthy gap behind and so that you don't lose out in a treacherous time. A simple mistake like this during the safety car, you will lose a hell of a lot more than during race conditions. So play it a little safe. You got nothing to lose. You got nothing to prove by pushing and being so close up. You're not Verstappen right now. None of us are. And honestly, it makes no sense for you to do that because the other guy is not necessarily Hamilton either. Sorry, rant over. Anyways, so safety car conditions. What is up with the field? We've got BK19, Existence, and Hero who have boxed. The rest of them have stayed out. We got Face Crack who has Yeah. Who's got a time penalty of 5 seconds? That could be. It could probably be a safety car infringement of sorts. So that's unfortunate. Moto will join us momentarily. So you'll have to deal with my boys for a while longer. But let's have a look at the chat. No, nothing from the chat as of right now. But the safety car is coming in this lap. We should be good for another round of push and pull and a lot of yanking in just a moment's time. FIFA Kanak still out in the lead. ABD 28 very, very hard on his tail. It's crucial that he gets and keeps that pressure up right now to ensure that he continues to keep that gap down going into green flag racing conditions. That's how it is. That's how it is. FIFA Kanak looks like he's bolted. Yep. Oh, he gets squiggly with the exit. But he definitely has caught ABD napping there, a little over 7/10 of the gap. We've got 5 cars in the leading pack and a little bit of a gap to Sai Tarun. Deepak will probably be looking into this thing. Why is there a gap? And Faizan, not able to get those temps in, losing a little bit of traction, and Dark Knight coming back into the picture there, and this battle might very well resume yet again. Moto, are you with us? Doesn't need to be the case. Okay. Having said that, face crack. King James has disconnected from the session. I think we'll just wait for him to get back. But in the meantime, it's going to be easy overtake for him. And at the same time, BK19, who's behind, is also very close to the back of Chicken. I think he'll be sizing up a move going into turn 11, 12 as well. Strendy not having the best of races, honestly. He started out back. He actually got into a decent position right now, but just again disconnected from the session, which is never ideal. That is King James. Yeah, it's the same situation. The entire pack is eating him up. Heisenberg, however, it was a little close to ABD. And having said that, he spun around. That is not good for his championship hopes. I'm sorry for cursing him, but he's dropped from P3 all the way down to P14. 15 actually. This is a terrible moment for the Haas driver. We're kicking himself for a mistake which probably wanted to go on the attack, and that's why he made a mess of it. But he will definitely be kicking himself because now he's in the mercy of the mid pack. Yeah, you never know how things turn out when you're that far down the order. Having said that, well, looking at the rest of the pack, Faizan is still our biggest winner so far. Man, he is on a mission. Is he gonna go down the inside? He sends it into turn 11 and he makes the move stick so beautifully. Definitely scared Deepak at that point in time, or Deepak just conceded. But my god, look out, top 5, because Faizan is on a charge. That is another spin for Heisenberg. Oh, he's gone from bad to worse. I hope he doesn't have to pit, but looking at his state of the tires, he very well might have to. Shrey getting there all a little too close for comfort with Strendy, yeah, he lost a bit of traction and a bit of time while on that offensive move. It is a bit of a close pack through and through. Alex being, the cork in the bottle as of right now. The top 3 are slowly running away. Ink has gone back into the DRS of ABD 28. So these 3 will, they've been tier 3 drivers and very, very close compatriots all along. Oh, that's Shrey who's bended, and that is another safety car. Heisenberg, you've got your prayers answered. You've got another chance, but it has come at the cost of your team efforts with your teammate winning it into the wall. Whew, that's unfortunate for him. but he still gets another chance to fight back. Will he give us a Perez-like performance to fight back into the field? We will have to wait and see. But 8 laps in, it is a good enough window for everyone to pit onto the hard tires, in my opinion. It might be a little dicey, but he can definitely make it work all the way to the end of the race. FIFA Canuck has not pitted, while the rest of the pack has pitted. Now, this is interesting. Him and Deepak have not pitted. The rest of the pack has. Huh. He might just be wondering why he did not do that at this point in time. It is a bit of an odd decision. He might be expecting one more safety car. Maybe the case. Or else you've got all those hard runners who started the Grand Prix and they haven't pitted either. So while he may have the track position, there are a little over 6 cars and a bit who will basically act as a barrier between him and the folks he was being honored at. So ABD is down now in P9 and Inc in P10. And yeah, there's a gap of almost 8 cars in between them, which is a good thing for them. It gives a little bit of confidence. They will have to make overtaking moves because the hard runners will only come in for their round of pit stops in the next 5 to 6, if not more laps. So until then, FIFA Canuck can continue or maybe extend his stint on those medium tires. How successful he will be at managing those tires, considering that they are quite old at this point in time, we'll have to wait and watch. But at this point in time, he is still on top. Advocate driver, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay. How do you
Hello,
think?
Kapil.
How is the race is going so far? Your thoughts on who's made the right decision and the wrong decision?
It's a pretty interesting race. I don't know why the top two drivers did not pit. They must be expecting another safety car in the next 5 laps or so. But
Yeah,
would have been ideal if they would have pit. But now, if depending a lot on the safety car now.
absolutely. And it's also a thing where you in a track like Australia, where it's not all too easy to overtake, it makes even more sense to get your pit stop out of the way. But yeah, for whatever reason, a very experienced Deepakraj and FIFA Connect from the ACC world, they have opted out of it.
Yep.
But it's SSJ, if we can have a look at the penalties real quick to see. So FIFA Canuck has been plagued with a 3-second face crack with that incident in the last safety car. No, or was that BK? Not sure. So he probably would have got it this time around. Face crack in P3 with a 5-second and Sai Tarun with a 3-second as well.
They have taken a big gamble by not pitting under the safety car. Let's see. Let's see if they get lucky with another safety car or not. Because the mediums will surely run out in the next 4 or 5 laps.
Well, we've had 2 safety cars, so it definitely can extend the stint by a couple of laps. But yeah, FIFA kind of completely putting on the brakes there, completely basically bringing the entire grid to a halt. He is probably might take it to the line. We'll have to wait and watch. But the safety car is in this lap, and we're going to be green flag racing in just a moment time. He uses the momentum out of the last corner and he gets a move on. We got P5 and 6. We've got Inc and King James, who are very, very close out behind. We've got the likes of Strendy and Axel Sam as well go squabbling for P4 and 5. That's the one who did not have the best of starts. It's a face crack with those tires. We've got BK90 going round the outside of Merath, which was a fantastic move, I may say so. But Alex has pinned it. Oh, that's Axel Sam. My apologies. Axel Sam and WTF Chicken in unison have gone ahead and donated their front wings to the Australian streets in Melbourne. But yeah, as it stands, Faizan's made that pit stop. He is super close, and so is Jose Hero for that matter. Both of them completely dumping their ERS, going side by side, and unfortunately there was a contact there, and it's been completely removed from the equation as King James, and as a result, Ink and ABD will slide on through. Moto, are you with us back again?
Yeah, I'm here.
Alrighty. Interesting restart. Heisenberg slowly making his way up the field, but a lot of action going on through the pack. You've got the Mercedes on hot charges. You've got Ferraris and Williams spinning out in fear. But as it stands in the front, the top three remain while the rest of the pack have been eaten alive. BK19 leading the charge. Sorry, not BK19. ABD28 leading the charge, who have already pitted. BK19 a little off center with his early pit stop, but he will definitely be a cock in the bottle for the rest of the pack. And as we know from before, he is one hell of a defender. So that will be a white hot battle coming away in a moment's time. But ABD, he is running a low down for setup. From what I can analyze, he's able to recharge a lot of ERS. He is quite pacey on the straights. So either very good ERS management on his side, or he's running a very low down for setup.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I haven't been here for a while, so the fact that he still has close to 100 yards is quite surprising. As we see, you're trying to get past the Alpine of existence. So what all have I missed? Could you give me a small little rundown? Because I see that Deepak has crawled his way back up to P2, and so has the other AlphaTauri of Face Crack in P3 as well.
Yeah, it was a safety car restart. It was a safety car, and half the pack did pit, but the other half did not. Dark Knight sensing a move, sending it, and actually making it quite well. Unfortunately, not getting the best of exits. Moves up into P11, but Existence might just think about a move. Heisenberg right behind them, thinking and trying to sneak his way past the pair of them, sending it around the outside, making his presence felt, and yes, absolutely moves his way up into P12.
Yeah, great move, but yeah, that's mainly down to the tire advantage as well. He's got 5 laps pressure hard, so yeah, he stuck it around the outside of that corner there. But currently, I think our net race winner, or leader rather, is I think the Red Bull of ABD, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, and I think
we have an offing.
Is in true Alfa Romeo fashion. Yep, he's stumbled down the field. ABD now just got Jose Hero to fend off the rest of the pack. The top three have already kind of checked out in that regard. But yes, ABD and Ink for that matter, who's just got his 3-second time penalty, not ideal for him. King James just rejoined the session and immediately has gone ahead and pinned it.
I hope he's ghosted there, because there was a car coming in hot right as we cut away from him. We're back on board with Sai Tarun, who's trying to crawl his way back to his rightful place. He's going around the outside. Oh, no.
They've come together.
And that's a reset as well.
Unfortunate there. Well, he did try to stick it around the outside. It's those finer details and the netcode that comes into the play. I'm not sure if you can blame either of them at this point in this very situation, but fortunately both of them have come out the worst for that. ABD and Jose Hero are trying to fight off Face Crack. Faizan also on the charge with Alex. he is really pumping it in there. And I believe, honestly, it is a fabulous showing from him so far. But Alex having absolutely none of that. He broke
Yep.
as late as he could, and that was a great defensive maneuver from him. Heisenberg now already
Heisenberg's
having
gonna go
disposed of
down the
existence,
inside of the Red Bull there. Oh no!
and and
Oh,
Strendy
the
says, you
car
know what,
that
you
wasn't in
guys can.
contention with anyone has spun out.
Yep, he just decided to donate his place in all of that, saying, you know what, you guys, you both can have the position. It doesn't have to be either or kind of a situation. Instead, he just gives it to them. We've got 5-car battle here for P3. Face crack defending like a lion, must be said. AVD going round the outside of Josie Hero.
Wow.
My goodness, that traction
What a
is
move.
ridiculous. And he's all over the back of Face Crack right now. Face Crack can do very little at this point in time because he's got 92% of ERS and he doesn't even want to use it. That's the interesting piece, that ABD is just playing it so smart at this point in time. You can add their ERSs and it'll more or less add up to 100 at this point in time. That's how much ABD has at the moment. Ink trying to go around the outside of Jose Hero. Will he get the move?
Oh,
No, it
there's
doesn't
Bugs
matter
the other
because
one.
Faizan, the other, is sending it down the inside, and a double overtake with these two overtaking Jose Hero. A swap of Mercedes position. We'll find out Faizan sending it down the inside. He tries it, but Ink with that momentum keeps the position. A superb flurry of overtakes there. Ink coming out on top, but do not look away, folks, because Faizan is very, very close to the back of him.
Yeah, Jose is dropping down the pecking order quite rapidly. He's on those old ailing hards. Aren't doing him any favors there right now in terms of grip. Being offered to the underfloor of his car. As we go on board the Haas of Heisenberg, he's all the way right up behind the Ferrari's rear diffuser there. Is he going to go for a move into sector 2? Stick around and find out, folks. He's got a lot of pace as this Haas driver. He's trying to claw his way back up near the front. And I think the reason why AMD is not using so much of his ERS is that maybe he feels that the Haas of Heisenberg has a bit more pace, so he's like conserving it to defend for later. As we see, Heisenberg use his explode his ERS down the straight and use it and deploy it to get past the Ferrari of Alex there.
Yep, and it's just a matter of time until Heisenberg catches to the field in front. Because as it stands, we got FIFA Kanak and Deepakraj in P1 and 2 on 16-lap-old mediums. That is well beyond their prime, ladies and gentlemen. And
They are
they,
hoping for a safety car.
yep,
They're coming
but
in now,
no
never mind.
longer. Yep, they've come into the pits with 5-second penalty for FIFA Kanak. That's going to hurt him dearly. But that opens up the gates for ABD, Ink, and surprisingly for some reason Face Crack still out there. Faizan's gonna muscle his way through, gonna go down the inside and stick very, very close to Ink and ABD. That is a complete destruction of Face Crack with his face completely cracked there. With Faizan absolutely showing no remorse. That's his style. If you stick it around the outside where your car doesn't belong in his eyes, you are getting nothing but dirt. That is in
You're
true.
heading for the gravel or the runoff.
Yep, that is true Hamilton fashion right there, and that's a fine example of that. But unfortunately, as a result of that, Faizan has dropped out of the DRS section point with respect to Ink. So you'll have to push a little bit to get back into it. But surprisingly enough, his teammate, though he's conceded or hounded to give up the position between Faizan and Ink, is keeping, I wouldn't say tidy, but is able to just about keep the under the 1 second window with Faizan. So his pace is good, even though he's on 15-lap all hards.
Yeah, he's just lost. Though he's just lost at least 5 tenths to the Haas driver behind in that particular sector there. So yeah, we did see him going deep into turn 13, which was quite a recurring theme in real life as well. So yeah, the Haas is looking really pacey, and he's certainly going to be making his way up the field. I think a podium is on hand for him. What do you think? Oh, we have another spin from the Alfa Romeo of BK there again.
Stop
Not quite
scaring
having
me,
the
BK.
most
Stop
pleasant of
scaring me.
afternoons for the not quite having the most pleasant of afternoons here in Australia.
Looking to be the comedic relief. I hope I'm not the case, the nut case tonight. As it stands, ABD got a healthy lead over Ink, who has that time penalty. So he is more or less out of the contention for the victory unless ABD makes a fault, which looks to be quite unlikely given how rapid and consistent he's been through the Grand Prix. Faizan has been able to claw back just enough to come under the DRS detection. I hope he's just about got it. We'll have to wait and watch if he did. But him and his teammate are in a very fine P3 and P4 at this point in time. But whether Hero will actually continue for 9 more laps on 16 lap old hard
Jose's got
tires.
really good pace on those tires. The gap did drop down to 2.7 few laps ago, but that's sort of stagnated, which is very surprising considering that he's on 6 lap older tires than the Haas.
Yep, he's definitely been pulled along with that DRS. He's probably used all of his ERS,
But he's
but
dropped out now.
finally dropped
Yeah.
out of it.
And he's back in again.
Bit of dilly-dallying there with the timesheets. Have to wait and watch if it is something that he can sustain. But nevertheless, he still has a little more time in his hands until he is caught up by Hasenberg. Alex and Dark Knight, meanwhile, I think they've, if you can look at the positions, they started out quite far behind. No, they started right where they are
They're
and
in
they
their respective positions, yeah.
Yeah, it was good because they were quite far down at one point in time. So good recovery drive from them, at least with the right strategy in place. So they're back in P6 and P7.
Tell you what, Faizan's been having a brilliant pace. He's already gained 15 positions from where he qualified. And now he's looking to gain another one because he's right behind the heel diffuser of the Aston in front, right there.
Yep, I'm just worried how much of the ERS he has to deploy to stay within it or actually push to actually fight against Ink. Because his battle, I mean, at this point in time, he's got that P3, P2 back, but he can just see the victory in his sights. He's got Ink, who might actually be fending off Faizan in a weird cross-tier camaraderie or cross-team effort there against Faizan. So he will actually have to muzzle his way through Ink like he did with the rest of the pack. So, but again, Ink is a formidable opponent. He's not one to push over, and his ERS levels are not too indicative that he's got too much in the tank in terms of a fight. But we'll have to wait and watch how it pans out. But as it stands, little over 4 tenths separate P3 and P2.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody seems to be running away with this because the Ink does have a time penalty, which really doesn't help his cause either. Maybe he can choose to look to get that move, but even then, he's quite a way off. Not even within DRS right now. We've been following Dark Knight for quite a while. Just showcasing how hard it still is to overtake around this circuit if you have two drivers in similar pace. We have a yellow flag in Sector 3. Sector 2, that's another Alpha. Oh, it's BK again. Yep. Nothing to see here, folks. Your standard stuff. Nothing to see at all. As we head back to Dark Knight, hounding the rear diffuser of the Ferrari, a bit like reminiscent of Max versus Charles here right now, folks. Right up near his rear diffuser. Is he going to get the move done into Sector 2 right now? Let's have a look at the exit. Yep, that's a clean exit there. I think this is the closest he's been for a while, quite a while. Can we have a look at the Ferrari ZRS and see how much he's holding in the tank right now?
Quite equal.
It's equal, folks. So these are two drivers with equal skill level.
Ink has made a mistake.
In equal cost. Oh, Ink has done a mistake, and that allows Faizan to crawl on through too fast in there. I think he outbroke himself, or maybe he got a really bad exit from the chicane there.
or he didn't even put up a fight. Faizan is under 10%, so he definitely squeezed out everything that he had to make this overtake happen. But Ink might come back for a second round. But as it stands, Faizan from all the way down in P17, sorry, is up to P2. We've got 6 laps of this Grand Prix left. We've got Ink now coming back for seconds. He's not done yet with Faizan. Jose Hero has incredible pace being behind these guys. I honestly do not know how he's doing it, because Heisenberg probably has damage at this point in time, is my guess. He had great pace throughout quali, but he just does not seem to be making any inroads to Jose Hero. Ink, however,
Yeah, in fact, he's lost
really,
a
really
second there.
close. Gotta think about a move down the inside,
Faizan is flashing, he goes to the dump, he goes on the inside.
but Faizan
He
takes
has to
it
flag
around the
there.
outside of Batman, is having none of it. But the extra ERS and the better exit of Ink is going to send it and makes the move comfortably at the end of it. Wow, that is a superb send and a retaliation from Ink to go back into P2. Good stuff, great stuff.
Tell you what, all this battling and scuffling around has allowed Heisenberg to sort of claw his way back up, but again the DRS is just too powerful for him to, make proper inroads on the cars in front right now because of how much they're gaining on the straights. Even though they're losing time battling through the corners, it's the straights where he's losing so much time. So it's sort of stagnating. Meanwhile, this has just allowed AB to pull out a further 3 seconds, almost 3 seconds there. So he does have the luxury of getting another penalty. Speaking of which, it seems Ink has gotten another one.
That's gonna pull him all the way down to P6, if not P7 at this point in time. That's oh, and that's Heisenberg as well making a mistake. So that might bring Alex into the picture now with a couple of more positions.
Yeah, Dark Knight still behind Alex. This battle has been going on for quite a long time. Probably the longest, most enduring battle on the track right now. But I think Faizan has gotten back past him with an easy DRS overtake right there. But Ink has used quite a bit of his DRS as well. He's down to 22, and Faizan was already low. So Ink doesn't have the luxury of the DRS anymore. Neither does he have the luxury of what do you call in terms of time penalties, because he's got another 3 seconds to his name, so he's got 6 right now, and he really needs to figure out what he has to do right now to if he wants to battle Faizan or try to eke out a gap with the drivers behind him.
Well, they are actually quite interlinked. It really does mean that they have to work together, but Faizan is really not interested in helping Ink in any way. Dark Knight, after being alongside and behind him for such a long time, makes a half-hearted move and backs out of it. That's only costing him and Alex time, where they should be working together to gain some easy pickings for some more points for their teams. But I'm not sure if they are completely aware of what's going around in the larger picture while they continue to battle each other.
Absolutely.
Jose Hero, thoughts on his tire strategy?
I don't know.
Having said that,
both the Mercs. Oh, you jinxed it. You had to say something.
I had to say something.
I mean, he was up there for driver of the day, considering how he's doing on those old hards. But yeah, both the Mercs have been on it in this race. They've capitalized on the events around them, and they've had really clean races. Yeah, it's kind of hard to decide between the two as to who has been the better driver today afternoon.
Very reminiscent of the real life Grand Prix, if I may say so, until Russell's demise. But
the action is just turned up to 100 times over.
absolutely,
With the amount of battles we've had in this one, it's quite bizarre actually.
well, the gap is almost 3 seconds, so ABD has more or less checked out. Is safe, and with his safeguards in terms of assist, I don't see him spinning anytime soon. But the battle for the final podium position rages on. Jose Hero now actually making or thinking about making a move on Ink. He's gonna think about going side by side as do Alex and Dark Knight. These guys are not done yet. Jose Hero unfortunately backs out of it, not getting enough of that overspeed to actually make the move. Dark Knight also keeping the move or keeping the position against Alex. But damn, these guys are
Good
really
defensive.
close.
Yeah, very nice defense from the Red Bull there. Slow down on the apex, so make sure the Ferrari couldn't quite get the run on him on the exit there. Good placement of the car, and yeah, ooh, getting very close to the Red Bull there. Is the Ferrari of Alex, but has he got enough pace in the tank to get back faster? He is quite low in ERS, and I think Dark Knight has a surplus of ERS right now compared to the Ferrari.
That's a great strategic move there to make sure that, like, in the hopes of defense, you go all out. I think it's a very smart move by Dark Knight, and that might pay dividends come the next couple of laps. But go on.
He's looking to gain quite a few positions after the race finishes, considering most of the drivers in front of him have penalties right now. So I'm guessing he's at least going to finish P4 at a minimum, which is a great result considering he qualified in P8. So yeah, a good day for the Red Bull boys right now.
Indeed.
Might have just jinxed it, but yeah, we'll have a look.
Having said that, Ink's teammate Sai Tarun has booked for a set of fresh softs. So he might just take away the fastest lap point for everyone on the grid. But with little under 2 laps to go in this Grand Prix, I'm not seeing too much of a difference in terms of Faizan and Ink. They are basically stuck together. Josie Hero's tires have started to give out. It probably made a very tiny mistake, and that has introduced Heisenberg into the fray. He's a little under a second behind Josie Hero right now, and it might be a mad dash to the finish to see if he can.
There's another. I think is it the same Alpha which is spun out again? I saw an Alpha spinning out in the background.
It has to be.
It is. It has to be. Who else is there? But
Heisenberg is all over the back. Walk through this battle, Moto. How's it going to turn out?
Yep. I think those hard tires are finally coming into play right now. Those hards have literally no grip. He's probably on the rims, as you would say, in terms of grip he has. He's just sliding across the track, and yeah, Heisenberg would look to get this move done as soon as possible because he does have the 3 seconds looming over him, and he probably will be hampered a lot by Jose's pace right now, considering how slowly he's going on the track. He sends it down the inside of turn 11 there. Bit of contact, and no. That is not what you want to see. That is not what you want to see. A half-hearted move there by the Haas driver, and he's paid the price for that. I think he went in a bit too hot on the apex. He carried a bit too much speed and couldn't quite slow his car down enough there. But the stewards will have a look at that. Back onto the battle on hand, folks. We have P3 and 4, P3 and 2 Ink, and Ink is still not giving up. Maybe he feels he can get those 3 seconds removed. It's the final lap of the race, and yeah, it's looking like the Aston of Ink is just all over the back of the Merc. He's hounding him through all these corners, keeping his momentum high through the section, corner after corner, apex after apex. His focus is solely on the rear diffuser of the Merc, and yeah, we're gonna have a look and see if he pulls this move off or not. He's got.
To think about it, it's actually quite. It's quite similar to the real life Grand Prix. We got a Red Bull followed by a Merc by an Aston. I'm sorry to change the topic here, but that is how it looks. But in one last dash to the finish, Ink and Faizan are more or less depleted all of their ERS, and I think Faizan might have this one in the bag.
What now? King James has been disqualified for not using all the tires. Hello? Okay. That is a new one in the history books of IRC. But
Hey,
nevertheless,
buddy.
Abadi crosses the line to win the Australian Grand Prix. A dominant performance from the Red Bull driver there. Absolutely flawless. Not a single penalty, not a single incident. Dark Knight gets a podium from that. Dark Knight gets a podium. It's a double podium for the Red Bull boys. Faizan slots in P2. My driver of the day for me. All the way from P18 to P2. Great drive from the Merc driver there. And P4 is Alex, P5 is Ink, P6 is Jose, P7 Deepak, P8 Existence, Heisenberg. A really disappointing race from him, considering he had pace to win in today's race. He winds up in P9. Kanak on the other side of the spectrum, taking the maximum number of points to the now the lowest number of points in a race, and he takes P10, getting 1 point. And Miroth in P11, P12 Axel Sam, P13 is 20, P14 Face Crack, P15 Sai Tarun, who gets the fastest lap for the 120.3. And yeah, that is the Australian GP for you folks. What a race that was. And we will shortly be going into the podium interviews, but yeah, drive the day, according to the game is Faizan as well. And I think you and me, Kapil, both can agree that
Absolutely.
Faizan
Fine
is
performance.
actually the driver of the day for us as well.
Absolutely. A well-deserved podium to finish out, to start all the way so far behind. Fantastic effort. I'm gonna have to get going here. Moto, if you can take it away with the podium interviews.
Yeah, all right. Absolutely.
See you
Um,
guys.
so yeah, great having you here, Kapil, and yeah, that was a great race to watch. But now heading on to the podium interviews, it's going through the race director, checking all the incidents and all as is mandatory by the telemetry team, which they need the data from it. So getting that out of the way, people in the chat who are still watching, put in your thoughts on this race because it was a fantastic one. Action all around the grid with the Red Bull boys taking the most number of points in the entire session with a P1 and 3. So, yeah, definitely the team of the race, and we'll be shortly heading to the podium interviews. All right, just getting the drivers in the chat room. We'll be back with you in a second. Just
Yeah, hi there, Moto. Sorry about.
we have two of them in the chat room. I'm just waiting for the last podium finisher in Dark Knight, and we can get started. Yeah, we're all here.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
think I can
so
fill in for more.
yeah, let's.
Couple.
What?
I think maybe I can fill in for couple if needed. Yeah,
Yeah,
since
yeah,
he's not there.
definitely, sure.
Yeah, so Moto,
Yeah,
why don't you start
definitely.
it off then with our P3 finisher, who was Dark Knight?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah,
Starting off the podium with Dark Knight. First of all, congratulations. Not quite the qualifying result you expected, but you kept it clean in the race, and that's what mattered. Because yeah, you really did benefit from the penalties ahead of you. But great battle with the Ferrari of Alex as well, who is also in the podium with us. Uh, Wait,
yeah,
wait. I'm pretty sure you finished P3. Am I not right?
yeah.
I
I
think
think
P2 was Faizan.
yeah,
Yeah, P2 was Faizan. Yeah,
Are we
yeah.
gonna get
We
it?
have an
I'll get
imposter among us, folks.
it.
But
I'll.
yeah, Dark Knight, great race from you, and talk us through it. How was it?
yeah. The race was fun. Obviously, quali wasn't great. I hadn't practiced much, so yeah. The quali was very close. Like everyone, I think till P9 the difference was only like 4 tenths. So every tenth mattered, and I was there in the fourth row or something like that. But yeah, it was after that. Yeah, everyone was saying in the VC, just keep it clean. Don't go for any outrageous moves. So yeah, I just did that, and yeah, it's good to finish on the podium like after the last race.
Yeah, absolutely. You had a great battle with the Ferrari of Alex as well. You sort of played the mind games and you were saving up your ERS. Actually, both of you were, but then towards the last two laps, both of you just dumped it and tried to go for the move. And I think at the end of you got him. So yeah, talk us through that battle because it was going on for quite a while. You were hounding
Yeah,
the back of him for at least 5 or 6 laps. So what
yeah,
was going on through your mind?
I realized like obviously we were very similarly paced, and so the problem with that is that in on this track the overtaking is a bit of a pain. So yeah, I was just saving up my ERS, just dumping it where it's required, just to keep close to him. And then yeah, I was just hoping that he would make a mistake, which he didn't. And yeah, I was just hoping that okay, he was having some movements at the fast chicane at the end of sector 2. So yeah, first I thought he would make a mistake there. There were a lot of times where he almost like he was losing lots of grip. And then yeah, I think in the last two laps I was like I had enough. I'm just saving up my ERS and I'm not able to overtake. So I just dumped everything, and yeah, I was able to make it stick then. So yeah, great
Yeah,
battle.
yeah, we
And
we definitely saw the ERS deployment you guys were
yeah,
doing in the last
yeah,
two laps. But
yeah,
yeah,
it was
great
quite
battle. It was a nice one for the stream as well. So good on you
yeah,
for keeping it clean. It was
yeah.
nice, yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to add to that? Because it was quite
Yeah,
eventful early on. I
yeah,
think
it
I
was.
wasn't there for some time of it. So
Yeah, it was
yeah,
quite eventful. There were lots of things happening. I had a battle with Heisenberg. I had battle with obviously with Alex, and it was yeah, it was lots of spins were happening here and there, and yeah, it was. I had to make some moves. I was starting a little further back than ABD, so I think I had to like make some moves, and yeah, that's what I did. So good to be on the podium.
yeah, great result and congratulations. Yeah, good one.
Thank you so much.
Coming on board to P2, and I'm pretty sure. Yeah, wait, sorry, Dan, do you want to add anything to that? Anything you want to ask Dark Knight?
Well, nothing really. I think all the questions were asked by you. So I just nothing left other than to congratulate Dark Knight on his return to the podium.
Yep,
After
it's
an
been a
entire
while.
season. Yeah. So yeah, Dark Knight is a pretty
Yeah.
consistent driver, and especially after jumping onto the wheel, he's picked up quite the pace. Cause even in the social races, he was keeping up with some of us tier 1 drivers. So yeah,
Yep.
it's an excellent performance that was put on by Dark Knight. So yeah, congratulations once again.
Absolutely.
And moving on, let's move on to our man on the second step of the podium, Faizan. Like, no words, buddy. What a comeback! Like all the way from P18 to finish in P2, and without any penalties. But I'm pretty sure you might have gotten a warning or two, maybe.
Yep, thanks. Thanks for that. It's been a good race. Yep, I think I had a couple of warnings. And I think I was just one warning away from getting a 3-second. But yeah, I was completely focused on the race. I was so focused I don't even remember what happened in the race. I think I just remember the end battle with Ink. I think when I overtook Ink, I was like a second and a half behind ABD, and I thought like he could just take my DRS and we could catch up to ABD, but I think he was not looking at the big picture and he wanted to fight with me. So unfortunately we lost a lot of time to ABD, but couldn't fight for the win. But yeah, happy with Peter.
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely,
Ink is not one to just give up his position. Also, he also accumulated a few penalties. So yeah, I mean, you could say that if you guys had a clean battle, maybe could have worked together to get back on, to get to the finish in the podium places, both of you. But unfortunately, it was not meant to be. So yeah, like any thoughts on the battle that happened between you? You were switching back and forth quite a lot.
Yeah, I think the couple of times I had to overtake Ink, I think he made a mistake in the fast left-right. That's where I was able to overtake him. But yeah, I think he was just trying a bit too hard to overtake for some reason. I don't know why. But anyway, I'm happy to finish ahead of him, and yeah.
ahead. Congratulations to you.
After
once again.
qualifying, I just want to get this out. After qualifying, did you ever expect to be end up on the podium, or was it just damage limitation from the start of the race?
It was just damage limitation. I was just trying to keep it clean, try to finish the race and see where we finish.
But then that turned into a podium. So, yeah, what was going through your mind? Like, at what stage could you actually feel that a podium was possible? Was it the first safety car, or was it like an incident ahead of you, or was it like, you just had bundles of pace over everyone else because you were starting out of position either way?
I think I realized we had a shot for podium at the end of first lap. I think I was up to P9 at the end of lap 1, and I realized I was a bit faster than the guys ahead. And then after the safety car, I think Jose held up Ink quite a lot, and that really helped. So yeah, shout out to him as well.
Yeah, great racecraft, and yeah, good on you getting back up the field. It's always nice to see someone come from the back, especially at Australia, So, congrats on the podium. Great drive, and probably everyone's driver of the day for today afternoon's race. Yeah, congrats on that. But now coming on to the man of the moment, P1 in the Red Bull, ABD. Welcome back, sir. It's been a while. And yeah, congrats first of all on the win.
If I'm not
Sweet.
wrong,
Walk us through it.
if I'm not wrong, this is his maiden win in IRC League racing.
Yes, it is.
But
Yes, it is.
he's been in the podium interviews for a while. I think he's got a podium last season.
Yes, this is my first win. Thank you for that,
Yeah.
both of you. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Faizan and Dark Knight. Beautiful drive from Dark Knight, because I know he was there in my VC. I know what was happening there. But yeah, Faizan also did a great job from P18 to P5. Coming to Maxi race, the second safety car wasn't the best. I would say it was ideal. It was a bit gamble there to pit. I saw FIFA Connect did not pit, and it was a guts decision to pit there, and just hope that there was no safety car coming out again. I was a bit worried that Faizan was catching up, because even I had 2 warnings, and then I was just driving carefully, and I believe Faizan and Ink's battles kind of helped me save that even more.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, you were very what do you call? You weren't using quite a bit of ERS when you were getting past Jose and the likes of the other drivers. Did you feel that you would need that ERS to defend from Heisenberg later on, considering he had a bit of pace on you, or did you just want to just save up some ERS for the later stage?
Right. So while I was praying that there was no safety car, but I was pretty sure that there might be one more. So I was kind of be careful, just waiting for the gap to form up, because we were very close. And if you saw in the second safety car restart, Inko got a better start, and I just let him pass by because I saw Jose and a car ahead was very close. I believe it was BK19. So it looked very dangerous to me. So I just let Ink pass by, and eventually in the next sector they didn't have any incident in which even Ink was caught up. So that kind of worked out well for me, and I got the position from Ink.
Yeah, absolutely. Great race and great moves as well. You went around the outside of a few drivers in some corners where you don't normally see a move. So, yeah, good racing, good action you guys provided for the stream as well. And
Yeah.
again, congrats on your first win. Pretty sure here's to more, many more
Yeah,
in this
thank you
season.
so much.
And yeah, great win, great racing from all the podium drivers and all the drivers in the grid actually. Some really good racing we had in the stream caught as well. One for the highlights reel if we ever make one. But yeah, that is tier 2 for today afternoon, folks. We've had a pleasant afternoon. A lot of wheel-to-wheel battles, a lot of incidents to look into as well, and lots more action yet to come in tier 1, which is tonight 8 p.m. Do not forget to tune into that, folks. So yeah, make sure you watch out for the fastest boys who take to the same circuit, same conditions. Maybe it could be wet, it could be dry, it could be cloudy, never know. So do tune in for that. And this is IRC and Dan. Yeah, thank you for the stream as well. This is Moto and Dan signing out.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Move.